I think the abomination is trying to come out, but I'm trying to contain the beast because folks is out here showing their ass, specifically this Batman movie that just came out. So the video we're about to watch, a member of the Geeks and Gamers crew, Ryan Kennel from Arcade Outpost, made a video, a kind of quick review after he saw the new Batman movie, which I'm not interested in. Some people had a reaction to that video and honed in on some specific that he said that they had issue with, and not only had issue with, took it as far as wishing hateful things upon this person. But the people who criticize this stuff, who criticize these basically live action adaptations of things we love, because we have issue and criticize specific things, we are terrible, we are misogynist, we are racist, we are homophobic, transphobic, all types of crazy shit. As opposed to people seeing it as we're critiquing the product, not the people. Our issue is the product, the adaptation of the product that was already here before you got your fucking grimy hands on it. The people is just the tool, or the casting is just the tool for this fuck job that they doing of making these superhero movies. But this ain't really about me. Let's watch this video to see what Ryan was talking about, and then I'll get my thoughts. Dope intro.
What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with the Arcade Outpost, and the audience scores for the Batman are finally starting to roll in, and they are overwhelmingly positive. It doesn't matter if you're over here on Rotten Tomatoes, where the verified audience scores a 95%. The all audience score, just a couple ticks lower at 93%. Obviously, things still starting to roll in. I expected to maybe tick down just a hair, but overwhelmingly.
So he's basically just talking about the movie. It's gotten great reviews from audience as well as critics. And yeah, he's talking about, okay, he made a review of the movie, a quick review after he walked out of the theater, or once he left the theater. Now let's see what he's talking about now. I think he's about to get into like the responses to his video.
I said I thought it was a really good movie. So I was very curious when I saw that my review of this movie was actually getting a little bit of traction, and it was culminating in things like this, tweets like this. Geeks and gamers should all die. From this guy, Just the Goat 216. So obviously, there are a couple people out there that have a little bit of a problem with things that I said in my review. That's what we're gonna go over. And thank you so much to Twitter. I wasn't really sure what I was gonna talk about this morning, but you made it very, very clear and very obvious what I was gonna talk about.
All right, so what y'all looking at? Okay, this is Twitter. It's social media. There's a bunch of retards on here. But so this is somebody recorded this clip from his whole kind of review or reaction to the movie. And as you can see, this is like a retweet of somebody else. So this person is just saying, based off of this clip, geeks and gamers should all die. I mean, come on now, there's an issue with that. You just responded to something that somebody retweeted, and then your response to their emotional response is the whole squad should all die. If you don't think that's fucked up, then come on now. How can we have this conversation?
Batman, and I think you should go over to this video. I encourage you to watch this 8-minute initial out of the theater reaction and a review from myself. It's over on Arcade Outpost Live. I will put a link to this video in the pinned comment section below and in the description, so you can go there if you want to. A lot of people have been going there just in the past little bit. So thank you very much. It's getting a lot of traction, and I appreciate that. Has a lot to do with this tweet right here. Saw a hashtag the Batman review that said he didn't like that there were more good black people than whites. I'm stunned. Ain't no way. I'm speechless. This is from ZR Zach Reckless over here, who clipped out a little bit of what I had to say. So why don't we listen to that? Let's listen to what I said about the Batman. Here we go.
But there were only a couple good people in this movie. You had Bruce Wayne, Batman, and you had Alfred. Those are the only two good white people. The rest of the three other major players that I would consider like overall like moral good people were, you had Jim Gordon, who's black in this. You had Catwoman, who's not white in this. And then you had the mayor, who's a black woman. Again, very much on the nose for current day Hollywood. Did not like that. Took a
Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How will I ever recover from this? And so obviously what I'm talking about in this was a section where I talked about identity politics in this movie. No mention.
All right, so what he said, he's going to explain what he said, but just my reaction to that, just hearing that, first of all, you watch the whole review, you'll know that he loved the movie. He didn't hate it just because black people were in it. The issue is, what I said was this is an adaptation of a comic book. And in the Batman comics, people who are actual fans, I'm not going to say I'm a real fan. Batman is my favorite fucking superhero from DC, but I'm not a DC guy. And I haven't read a lot of his comics. I'm a Marvel type guy, so I have no interest. And every live action adaptation of a DC movie has sucked to me. So I have no interest in this new Batman movie. But what he's saying and issues that I see with not just superhero movies, but movies, period. People, I'm gonna say this. Movies are an art form. No art is made, well, artists are deliberate with just about every choice that they make, because artist knows that every decision they make, they're trying to portray a certain feeling or, get a certain reaction or something. They're trying to do something, and they're trying to figure out ways to do that. What he's saying with this Batman movie is that all the villains, all the bad guys were white, and the good characters besides Batman and Alfred were black, which is only Catwoman and Jim Gordon, the commissioner, or Commissioner Gordon. But those black characters are race swaps. So they were, and he said, the mayor of the city. So they're intentionally putting black people in places of esteem, so to say, when these characters were not that before. And the thing is these decisions are made, but for the most part, all this shit is made by white folks. So you have white folks that are trying to, I'm gonna say, pander, or, show, hey, I'm not racist, I have a black friend type shit. That's what they're doing when they put these black people in these positions. And they make sure to not put them, or make sure they're not seen in a negative light, such as a villain. And that's the thing, that's what he's saying. And this is not happening just now. It's been happening in movies. I paid attention to it to where, some movies they'll have black folks will be villains and the heroes will be white people, or, those are tropes, just shit like that. But what this movie is doing to Ryan, from Ryan's perspective, is kind of an overcorrection. Okay, to show that we like black people and we're down with blacks and all this type of shit, we're going to make black people, again, the good characters, or in places of high esteem, high respect. And that's the identity politics issue. And the thing, and when people justify that, I'm gonna leave it right there.
Mention of the fact that I liked the movie. No mention of the fact that I gave it an 8 out of a 10. No mention of the fact that I said I thought it was really good. Just, well, he didn't like the fact that there were more good black people than good white people. Now, me talking about who I thought was a good person, or shown as a good person in this movie, if you actually go watch it, it was about a small segment that I did about things that I did not like about the movie. based on identity politics. One of them was a line that Catwoman says, you want to hear about that? Again, go to my actual review. I don't want to spoil that because I know people haven't even gone out to watch it yet. But go to my review and watch it when I talk about this. And anyone with an IQ above room temperature could understand that what I'm talking about here is not simply, well, there were more good black people than good white people, so I didn't like it. It was talking about the fact that there were every other white person, every single white person in this movie was portrayed as evil. Every living white person in this movie was portrayed as an evil piece of garbage, except for Batman and Alfred. That's what the statement's talking about. That's what I'm trying to get across, is that even though I didn't ruin the movie for me, you can't get away from that agenda in Hollywood right now. That's obvious. We all understand and know that. But what this tweet has spawned, what this clip has spawned, has been some very, very interesting things. Why don't we go through it? Should I scroll all the way down to the bottom, or should I start from the top? Let's start from the top of my bookmarks, and we'll work our way down, shall we? Threats of violence, calls for me to be canceled. I cannot wait to see what Twitter thinks about this. Metaverse says, hey, at YouTube, how is it you say you're against bigotry, hatred, etc., whenever you've allowed obvious bigots like this to run around and say whatever absolute fake nonsense they want on your platform? Oh, man. And of course, this guy, at just the goat 216, geeks and gamers should all die. Now, unfortunately, we couldn't get more of these because as much as I wanted to talk about a lot of these responses, a lot of these death threats, threats of violence, some of them have already either been deleted or Twitter's removed them, which is unfortunate. I don't report people like that because I want to react to what you're saying about me. So unfortunate to whatever happened to those tweets. I have never seen a more punchable face from the Moonlight Warrior. You guys are the good guys, right? You're the good people, the SJWs, the moral ones. Got it. Does this guy have a death wish from Sean23?
So when he says these guys are the good guys, that's the thing. The people who defend this shit or love every time a black person is on the screen when a person is supposed to be white, and anybody who has an issue with it, again, they come with saying shit like this. On the flip side, people like us who critique these things, we're not saying everybody who made this should die, everybody involved in this should die, or are, you know, all these terrible things. Again, we're critiquing the product, the art, and in return, the response is these people critique the individual, and they coming from a place of emotion, allowing them to say just heinous shit like this. And honestly, a lot of these people ain't gonna do shit to nobody. I'm pretty sure can't none of these folks fight. Ain't none of these folks over 120 pounds. And they just doing this shit to, you know, win some points for the next person or marginalized person or whatever.
And I do assume that if we were to go to a lot of these profiles, they probably have pronouns in their bio. There's about a 50% chance they have pronouns in their bio, just to be warned. Morris Today, black people existing is, quote, on the nose. Now that's out of context, even for what I did say in that video. And a lot of people are just going over to that video in its entirety and saying black people in this 0 out of 10, showing that they didn't watch the video. They haven't watched any part of it. They're literally just taking what people are saying about this clip and heading over there.
All right, that's pretty much it. He's just talking about all the crazy shit that people are doing now because of him saying that. And I'm glad he said that. I say shit like this, and, you know, growing up reading comics, you kind of realize, well, definitely as a black person, I've realized, no, there were a lot of black characters. Although they weren't as many as the white characters, the people who were creating comics were pretty much white. So these characters were reflections of them. And even a character like Black Panther, which a bunch of you niggas talking about Wakanda Forever didn't even know was made by a white person. Even then they came with some, you know, some heavy hitters, black people or black characters in comics. But never at any point that I was reading comics was like, oh, this is not for me. It's not enough people like me. I was just like, well, I want to create comics, and when I do, I will just make more black characters. Problem solved. So it's real disingenuous when you take a character that's already established and you just make them black. If you're truly creative, you could just create great black characters. Or if black people really gave a fuck like they claimed, then they would just make black characters and not accept these tokenized versions of the ones we're getting. Because to me, what that really sounds like is you're okay, or when you praise these black people on screen, or these white characters turn black and talking about why we care, it's, you know, it's just a cartoon movie or some shit. Like, what you're really saying is, all you fist in the air black people, is that you're okay with taking the white man's name, Falcon, turned to Captain America, and then you're okay with, and then all that work you put in under his name is you proving or showing the white man that, you know, he was right in choosing you. Like, you are his number one nigga. You his head nigga in charge. So yeah, you take the name, you ain't Kunta Kinte no more. Now you Toby, and now you out there in the fields, you know, doing the white man's work. So that's what it looks like when you black people justify this type of shit or claim Miles Morales is the best Spider-Man. But not knowing or not reading a fucking Miles Morales comic and knowing that his uncle was a fucking predator in the movie and his father didn't agree with none of the shit that he was doing. So Miles didn't have any actual family to nurture him or make him a better person like Peter, except for his mother, who dies. So you people that love Miles Morales, y'all just love the movie. Let's not talk about the comics because you ain't ready. But I've had this issue with race swapping characters. Back then, I remember there was an Egyptian gods movie or some shit, and it was just like white people everywhere. Like, every god was white. And I was like, fuck no, I'm not watching this shit. Because, you know, I'm not saying these people were black, but they was colored. So the fact that they was whitewashed, I was just like, nah, I'm done with that. Or like, I'm watching The Proud Family right now, and every black person that defends Michael and him being whatever flamboyant sexual he is, and although he was that already in the, you know, previous version of The Proud Family, Vicky has to be taken out in order for that narrative to be pushed. So with these identity politics they doing, and that all you people just justify or love and all behind, you know, think about what you're really supporting. If you claim to love this shit that we are fighting for, that we're critiquing, love it enough to critique it and you know, find the things that are wrong with it and speak on that. Don't just accept what these people are giving you, and because it's got a black face on it, you just like, ooh yeah, that's us, slay. Shit really looks fucking stupid, and y'all out here jibby and jangling, bojangling and shit and tap dancing for these white folks, and they sitting here laughing.
They only see legitimacy in classically white characters. Original black characters, be damned.
These white characters turn black instead of praising black characters who are fucking black, or trying to see more of that. If you really cared about your people and the uplifting of your people and whatnot. Pay attention to the disrespect and actually it really makes me fear for the future, because these identity politics are pushing, are creating a generation or a wave of whatever of overly empathetic people, just looking at who's being hurt as opposed to thinking logically and seeing what's wrong with the whole situation or what's going on with the whole situation. But also shit, y'all talking about these, the white man and this patriarchy and whatnot and how terrible men are. I definitely fear for that future when men growing up, especially white men, are growing up being told that they're innately evil. You know, you're evil, there's nothing you can do about it. Everything that you try to do, every right you try to put out into the world is from a place of guilt and, I mean, man, just all this bullshit. It seems like you're contributing, people who push these agendas, it seems like they're contributing to this narrative or to this actual evil group of white people by telling them they're that. You know what I'm saying? If you tell a person they're that while they're growing up, which is what the kids are saying in comics, if you're telling them they're that, you know, what kind of effects will that have on a person like later on in life? People who actually love heroes and, you know, regardless of their color, We already, like, that's all the shit is about, is righting the wrongs in the world, being a good person, saving people, doing all you can with the power that you have to make a difference in somebody else's life. So it's like that shit's already ingrained in the culture. We don't need somebody to come in and right our wrongs and fix us and tell us what's wrong with it. Let us figure that shit out on our own amongst ourselves, which we do, you know, from all different races, all different sexualities. We are already a great community. We know we're toxic to one another, but we love one another for that. Because what you claim is toxic is just passion. That's all it is. It's passion, and we shake hands and we hug at the end of the day. And, you know, we fist bump and we go play games. Like, we good. Stop telling us we're an issue by coming into our shit and creating issues. And black people, stop tap dancing for this shit every time you see somebody with a black skin on the screen. Go make your own shit. It's too many myths and mythologies and cultures and whatnot of colored people, of darker skinned people, for us to create some great shit instead of just wanting to take the white man name. So that's all I gotta say on this video. Folks, do better, especially black folk. I'm not trying to put a whole lot into this video. I just had this reaction and I wanted to let you guys know, because this pretty much is why I'm even making this channel, because I'm seeing a lot of shit like this and a lot of black characters that you folks just eating up and not understanding the disrespect that comes with it, or even knowing these characters in their true origin, because you honestly don't give a fuck. You try to talk about these movies and the changes after you compete or talk to a normie, after you go back and forth with a normie using actual logic or lore from these characters. Then they can only respond with fucking emotional responses or tell you, you know, well, you just hate everything. Can't you just sit back and enjoy it? Can't you just watch it? No, because I'm a critical thinker. And there's a such thing as subliminal messaging. And it's because we love these characters so much that we can acknowledge these changes and can speak on them with intelligence and have an actual conversation about the product. So that's all for this video, people. Leave me a like or a dislike, however you really feeling. Go and make the algorithm work or do whatever it is. And if those buttons are not enough, leave a comment down below to tell me how you really feeling. Do you agree with me? Do you see identity politics and shit? Am I helping you? Are me and other creators helping you to be woken up, truly woke to this nonsense and what's going on, so that we can, because once you acknowledge the issues, then you can make those changes to create solutions. Do you disagree with me? Am I just an abomination? Am I just being hateful? Do I just have such a terrible life that I just want to hate on shit, even though I love all the shit in my background and whatnot? When shit was pure and good. Do you agree with these people that's tweeting at Ryan and thinking I should die? Or that I hate anything with a colored person in it because I'm an internalized racist and I'm a product of white folk shit or something. I don't know, whatever. I don't know what goes on in y'all head. And subscribe to the channel.
So I'm not sure I get you.
Give me a real fight.
Any of you guys read that chapter in The Art of War about misdirection?
You don't deserve this